In this video, I want to talk about the new feature that's been added in the code release of the Chocolatey Azure DevOps Extension. Now, in this release, what we've added is an additional option for the Chocolatey push command. So previously in the Chocolatey push command, you had to specify both the source and the API key that you wanted to use to do the push of the packages from the build that you're currently doing. Now that's fine, but Azure includes the ability to externally store those settings so that you don't have to put them directly into the build steps that you're doing. And that is done now through this option here. So in here, we would have the option of selecting a pre-configured feed or destination for the chocolate packages that we want to push. Now, right now, I don't have any of those, but if I go into Manage here, what we'll find is that we have the ability to create a new one. So I could add a new NuGet service connection here, specifying the name, the URL, and the API key that I want to use. So in my case, I'm going to sample a MyGet feed that I happen to have. So I'm just going to give this a name of MyGet, and I'm going to grab the API key that this requires, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, the one thing I want to point out is that Chocolatey by itself only supports API key based service connections. It doesn't at the minute support the external Azure DevOps server or the basic authentication. Now, if you wanted to use either of those, the NuGet task for Azure DevOps has the ability to use different credentials, specifically for pushing to something like the Azure DevOps artifacts, if that's what you're wanting to push up chocolate packages to. But the chocolate task only accepts the API key. So if we go back to our build now and go do a refresh, what we should now have the option of seeing is that MyGet feed that we just created. So you can centrally manage all of your connections rather than having to put it in the same or different build configurations over and over again. So I'm going to just hit MyGet at this point, and I'm going to say save and continue. So the chocolate pack command we've discussed in previous videos, it's just going to look for all new spec files in the current working directory, and it's going to pack them. My push command is going to specifically take one that's created called gep13 and then a version 1.0.0 and push that to that feed that we just created. So if we now look at the build itself and we'll wait for the agent to spin up, we should then find that the push command is going to fetch those centrally managed credentials, pass them through Chocolatey, and then have that push completed with those API credentials that we've stored there. So this is the pack happening. We two new spec files being iterated over, and then the new nupkegs being created, and then the push is happening here. We're attempting the push of that package to MyGet, and it said it was successful. So let's just have a quick look in here. Obviously, the API keys are not going to be shown in the log, so there's no risk of leaking out that information. But I just wanted to show you that it was attempting the push of that nupkeg to my feed here, and then it was successfully pushed to that feed. So it's taken that API key, passed it to Choco Push, and that has resulted in a successful push of that package. So hopefully this is going to be of use to you. I know that at least 2 members of the community were looking for this functionality. Again, if there's any additional functionality that you're looking for to have included, definitely reach out on the GitHub page and create an issue, and we can see you. Thank you very much.